As many of you know, a new epic film chronicling the life and work of one of the church's most beloved saints, Mother Frances Xavier Cabrini, hits theaters this weekend. In 1946, Mother Cabrini became the first American citizen to be canonized by the Roman Catholic Church. Cabrini begins its theatrical run Friday, March 8th. What many may not know is that this entire project is the fruit of one man's inspiration. Philadelphia businessman Eustace Wolfington actually made Mother Cabrini's acquaintance decades ago, but he believes it was the saint's prompting that compelled him to spend years and $50 million to bring her story to the big screen. It's a journey worthy of Cabrini's, as Eustace Wolfington shared with me during our interview. Eustace, tell me how you first came across Mother Cabrini. I mean, you had an acquaintance with her long before this movie came along.
Yeah. Well, it was in 1955. I was 23 years of age, and I was looking for a church to find an early Mass, a 6:30 Mass, near my work. And I found this church. I walk in, I see a statue of this woman. I have no idea who it is. The priest said we're going to do a 9-week novena on Mother Cabrini. I said, okay, I'll go to it. I went to it, and I was so unbelievably surprised about this woman and what a make it happen lady she was. And I want to make things happen in my life, so I said I'm going to adopt her as my patron saint. And I did.
And fast forward 2002, you found the Wolfington Center at Cabrini University, which is the focus of which is what? What do they do there?
That's the religious center. That's for all the religious activities on the campus. They do outreach programs, and in the summertime they travel to Appalachia.
They do all kinds of social justice outreach as well as charitable works. Yes. So Cabrini has always kind of haunted you. I mean, really, throughout your life.
Yeah, well, when I learned about her, I would read up on her life, and I got to know her, and I'd go all over the world and talk about her, because my business took me around the world, and I'd talk about Mother Cabrini.
Why? What about her?
First, I asked people if they've ever heard of her, in which in most cases they hadn't, and even Italian families. I mean, I was shocked that here she is, the first American saint, this great Italian woman, probably one of the greatest Italian women of all time, and nobody knew her.
Wow.
So that bothered me. But even with that, I wasn't going to do a movie.
And in 2011, one of the nuns running Cabrini University comes to you and says, would you invest in this movie about Mother Cabrini? And you said what?
Well, I said, sister, I did one movie in my life. I'm a car dealer. And I never want to do another movie.
And that was Bella.
That was Bella, yeah.
Which it made back its money, but it wasn't a big hit.
No, and that happened right here in this office, Bella.
Beautiful.
Alejandro and Leo and Eduardo walked in here one day with my nephew, and they were the scroungiest looking guys you ever saw. And they opened up a computer, and I saw a light on the screen, and I thought I was going to see something. And Alejandro started talking, and that was it. And all I heard was little music and him talking. And they were telling me the story about Bella. And I won't get into that, that's a whole story. But it happened right here in this office.
But you had already invested in a film, and you weren't looking for another film property.
Yeah, I wasn't looking from an investment. I wasn't worried about the investment point of view. I was worried about the time and the work. A movie's a lot of work.
You made your career really in the auto business. What was it about Mother Cabrini that appealed to you? And that clearly it was the entrepreneurial and businessman in you that was, you saw a kinship there in her spirituality and approach to building things and growing enterprises.
Exactly, and to never give up. Never give up spirit. And that was the way I was raised. I was raised, never quit. When I was a kid, my grandfather would take me in the shop, and he would throw trash all over the floor. He'd say, clean it up. I'd clean it up. He'd throw it out again. He'd clean it up. I'd clean it up again. He'd throw it out again. I'm starting to think he was losing it.
Yeah.
And, but he was teaching me a lesson. He said, I'm going to teach you a lesson. He said, you're going to get in life, you're going to do things, they're going to fall apart, and you got to do it again. And you're going to have to do it again. So that hit me in Mother Cabrini.
Never give up,
Right.
stay to it, and stay on mission.
Stay on mission.
Eustace, what changed your mind? Because in 2011, you tell this nun, I don't need to do a movie on Mother Cabrini. I don't see it. What changed?
Well, remember, she bugged me every year for 6 years. She didn't go away.
She didn't give up
She didn't
either.
go away. So she finally called me and said, look, I have an Italian film company that's going to do the movie on Mother Cabrini. Come up to New York to her shrine. I'd like to introduce you. So I go up to the shrine for the first time I was ever at the Cabrini Shrine. And I meet this Italian film company, a great company, and they're very excited about doing the movie. But I looked at what they were going to do, and I just knew instinctively that that wasn't the way Mother Cabrini should be portrayed.
Why?
Because it was going to be a fairy tale saint movie. It wasn't going to be the real person. It was going to be handing out candy, patting kids on the head, picking up flowers. And, it's the complete opposite of who she was.
None of the struggle.
No struggle.
With a nun as their Pied Piper.
It's the story of a saint, a woman who is a ferocious fighter and has a huge heart. Basically a history film. But the way Gandhi is a history film, or Lawrence of Arabia is a history film, everybody working on the film is doing what they can to bring Mother Cabrini back to life for people.
So I said we have to do as I said, we have to do the Gandhi kind of movie. He was a Hindu, but it didn't get in the way. She's a nun, it can't get in the way. We have to do a movie of a woman who just happened to be a nun. And that became the premise of which we did the movie, because we wanted the movie to be universal. We wanted everyone to get to understand Mother Cabrini, to see her life, and let her life be the message.
How did this become your mission, though? I mean, this suddenly becomes your mission.
Well, once you commit to something, remember my father's principle, whatever you do it better than anybody else, no matter what it is. And so I learned a lesson from Deming. Deming had a lesson. He said, if you're going to do something, you have to do it 100% right up front, or you're going to have a big tail on the back end. If you shortcut up front, you're going to have a lot of problems in the back.
And you go over to the archives in the Vatican. I mean, you're actually there with the archivists and the historians.
Yeah, well, when I
investigating.
first agreed to do the movie, I didn't have any team. I had to get a writer because I was out pitching in New York about this movie we wanted to do, and the guy said, "Well, where's your script?"
Yeah, they want a script.
And I said, "Well, I don't have a script." So I said, "Look, I'll tell you what. I'll come back a year from now. I got to go out and get a script done." So I called Leo. I called Ted Baer. I called several people in the industry. I said, "Can you help me get a writer who would, be the kind of writer for Cabrini?" I had several people I interviewed. When I met Rod Barr, I said, "Rod, send me some of your scripts." He sent me some of his scripts. I really liked what he did and the way he wrote. And so we agreed to take it on. So the first thing we did was go to Rome, and we almost something called the Papal Foundation. So we go to see the Pope every year. Yeah. So we were going over to see the Pope that year, and then we went up to her Cadagno, which is her hometown. Yeah. Lived in her convent for 10 days with all the nuns, and all the historians were there, and we learned all about Mother Cabrini locally, and it was the best thing we ever did because we'd also read 27 books on her life. But there was something that's in the movie that wasn't in any of the books.
What's that?
And that's the scene where Mother Cabrini breaks into the Senate. That was not in any of the books. But the head of the order, who had retired, was now the head historian, got out all the newspaper clippings and started to tell us the story about how Mother Cabrini had broken into the Senate. And Rod picked right up on that and said, that's got to be in the movie.
And she pleads with the Senate to finance her work back in New York.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. No, she had an amazing kind of dynamism. I love that scene with the Pope, where every time, she reminds me a lot of Mother Angelica. When a door closed, she found a window or she found another door or she knocked a wall down to get through. And I love, that moment where she goes back to the Pope when New York tries to shut her down.
Grazie, Santità.
She and the Pope had developed a really great relationship. The reason we named the movie Cabrini, whenever he would see Mother Cabrini at a distance walking into he'd say, "Hey Cabrini, hey Cabrini." So we didn't call it Mother Cabrini, we called it Cabrini.
Because that's how he would refer to her. And
I
yell out
was
after.
going to call it Hey Cabrini, but we thought Cabrini is a little more dignified.
So you go to Alejandro Monteverde, who's the director. Is that after you had a script in hand?
Yeah, well, after we had the script, I didn't go to Alejandro right away because I'd gotten the feedback from Leo and other people that he was on another job and wasn't available. So I started looking around to other directors. And I think I told you I was sitting in church one day and I got this overwhelming message to call Alejandro. I was the 8 o'clock mass. So I get home at 10 o'clock. I walk up my house, the phone rings. No one calls me on Sunday. Yeah. And it's a phone call saying, "You should try and get Alejandro." And I thought, well, that's it.
Wow.
That's my sign. And I caught him, he was about to sign a new contract the next day. And he didn't want to do a movie about a nun.
Yeah, he told me that a few weeks ago.
He didn't want to do a movie about a nun. So I sent him the script, and the script was so well written that he realized that Alejandro, I think he probably told you, he has to see a movie. When he reads a script, he has to see it. If he doesn't see it, it's not for him. And he read the script and he saw it.
You even went to Martin Scorsese about this at one point because
Well, I was going through the internet and I saw where Martin Scorsese, Loretta Young had gone to him in 1973 and said, "Let's do a movie on Cabrini. I want to play Cabrini." And so I knew it didn't get done, so I figured he had the script.
Right.
So I had my brother write him a letter, my brother Alex, and say, "Do you have a script?" He wrote back and said, "I don't have." I said, "I'll buy it from you." He said, "I don't have the script, but I'll give you a tip. Get an Italian actress." And that was the best tip we've ever could have had.
Why do you think that would be important?
Well, I guess it's because Mother Cabrini was an Italian woman. She did not come here until she was 39 years of age. Her whole life was spent in Italy. And I guess he just...
So you have that
He
authenticity.
knew what I didn't know.
Yeah, you have that authenticity in the playing. You didn't have to strain for the Italian part.
We shot the movie 39% in Italian.
Negata? Come sarebbe negata?
None of that is an American who speaks Italian. Our whole crew is from Italy. The whole cast is from Italy, so that they're all speaking their native tongue.
There are many daughters of Cabrini, but there's only one son of Cabrini that I know of. Tell me about that and how that happened.
Well, that was really a great honor. The Cabrini nuns in New York, Sister Petrina, had a surprise for me. They invited me up to talk at a event they were having, a big event they have every year, and they honor three or four people at that event, and they honored me, and I didn't know it, and they gave me this special medal and said, "I'm the first son of Cabrini." They made me a son of Cabrini, and that was pretty good.
Awesome.
I was really, really overwhelmed.
A little tip of that habit from
Yeah.
Mother herself.
Well, from Mother herself.
This is- but this
and
is-
you look for things like that. I mean, several things along the road, Mother Cabrini kind of let me know she wanted me to do this movie.
It's a huge undertaking, though. I mean, you raised, what, $50 million for this movie?
Yeah, well, I raised $25 million on a script. COVID broke out, and no one would talk to me. So I had to get a line of credit from the bank for another $25 million, which I'm still raising, you know.
But you went forward.
But
You
we
did
went
it.
forward and got it done. Yeah. I mean, you can't stop a movie. When you start a movie, you're either going to go.
What is the message here? Some people look at it and say the message is we need health care, we need housing for the immigrant population. Is that the message?
No, the message is one of hope. And so many people come into this movie, and we've gotten so many letters where there's so much anxiety about the world, and they're so fearful about the future. And they say they walk into the movie, and they watch Mother Cabrini's life, And all of a sudden, they're excited about life again. I think it had to do with when they saw that every immigrant that's come into this country has had to come from the outside. And it's always taken them a generation or two to work their way into the middle. And that's so obvious in the film because of what the Italians had to go through.
Yeah, and she really insists that they keep both their Italian language and heritage, but also understand English, learn the ways of America. I mean, she really trained them.
Well, first
to
of all,
be...
she was a great educator. Mother Cabrini, early on, had what she called the education of the heart. She knew it was much more than reading, writing, and arithmetic. She knew you had to have love. She knew that you had to be able to go out and handle anger. She knew that you had emotions that you had to have under control. So in her schools, a nun, you were never allowed to correct a student in front of anybody else. It was forbidden. And you had to call him aside, take him out and work with him. And you had to do everything based on his potential, on the gifts God had given him. There's a whole book on her principles of teaching. You could be trained to be a teacher, but you had to go through her, to be a Cabrini teacher, you had to go through her course. She didn't come here until she was 39 years of age.
It's unbelievable.
So when she came here, within 2 days, she had a school open. I remember she had no money, no facilities, no pencils, no book. In 2 days, she had a school open at the bottom of a church because she knew that education was going to be the key to them getting ahead. And most of the Italians that she had to deal with were uneducated. They came from southern Italy. And of course, Mother Cabrini's nuns came from northern Italy. And they're all very sophisticated and well educated. And when they got here, it was like a shock to her nuns. They were just shocked at the conditions these people were living in and the fact that they weren't educated. But they, overnight, Mother Cabrini taught humility. She taught, serve, like Mother Teresa, who copied her like Mother Cabrini. You see the face of Christ in everybody, and you're doing this for Christ.
She also had this fierce devotion to the Sacred Heart, which she named the congregation after as well.
She went to a school called the Daughters of the Sacred Heart, and she would meditate for 3 and 4 hours a day in front of the Sacred Heart. And over that period of time, that 4-year period of high school, she came out with this incredible devotion to the Sacred Heart.
You've seen some of the criticism where, in addition to the people calling the movie a masterpiece and saying it's how moving it is, there are some that are saying there's not enough emphasis on her prayer life. We don't see her praying.
Well,
what's your reaction to that?
Well, we tell them that was deliberate. We said we wanted her life to be the prayer. And that was Mother Cabrini's whole life was prayer. I mean, she was praying all day long. And everything she did. Alejandro gave a good example. He said, you people will walk down the street by a homeless person. Mother Cabrini never would have walked by a homeless person. I mean, that was her prayer. Her prayer was living. She lived her faith. Now, she was big on retreats for all her nuns. They had, they all built around the spiritual exercises, all of her retreats. They had a great prayer life, but they were working 24/7. These nuns, when they came to America, they were working 24/7. They were working at night in the homes with the parents and teaching all day long, and working in the prisons. She was working in mines. I mean, Mother Cabrini was...
She finds 67 separate ministries all over the country
all
and
over
the world.
And 60 of them were built between 39 and 67. And there's 20 in that 20-some year period, she built 60 of those major institutions, major hospitals.
To what do you attribute that? I mean, this is a woman who's sickly. She wasn't even supposed to live till 40 years old. And here she is, she really didn't start her work till almost 40.
Well, first of all, God gifted her with this incredible organizational talent. She was a great organizer.
What was that?
And a great leader. Administratively, Mother Cabrini, when she opened up the Columbus Hospital, for example, she was out of there in 120 days. It was running like a clock. And everybody in that place, she knew how to pick the right administrator. Everybody in that place had written out what their job was. The guy sweeping the floor. I mean, her detail to healthcare. She just had this incredible organization for detail.
Yeah.
And one of her rules was to keep everything simple. So her nuns, she said, humility, service, and simplicity. And of course, love, but love came first. Humility and the nuns in that order are so truly humble.
There's a beautiful song during the end credits now that when I saw the film was not there. It's Andrea Bocelli and his daughter. Now the daughter's
Yeah.
in the movie.
The daughter's in the movie.
How did you get Andrea Bocelli to do that beautiful song at the end?
Well, we call that Cabrini. No, but a gentleman walked in our office one day, a really fantastic young man who I didn't even know. And we got talking, and he said, I would like to get Andrea Bocelli to sing. And we had already had that idea. My nephew had already got me in touch with someone that was starting to arrange that. Mm-hmm. But this guy grabbed it, and within 48 hours, the record was done. I mean, he just called Andrea Bocelli's wife on the phone,
Yeah.
Veronica, and
And he wrote new lyrics for it as well, to the song, in Italian.
And he wrote his own lyrics for the song. The song's called Dare to Be. It was written by Gene Bach, our composer, and it was written for the film. And but it was just the hand of God to help us get Andrea. And he's supporting the movie 100%. His wife called yesterday and said, whatever you want, whatever support you need, we're here for you.
Abbandonato al tuo coraggio cado anch'io. Fiore di me.
Tell me about the effect it's having on people. You've been to, I don't know how many screenings now of this film all over the country. What are you hearing? What are you seeing from people? You're a salesman, you're an entrepreneur. What's your customers saying?
Well, what I would have loved to have done, and I was going to show you today anyway, some of the testimonials. We have thousands of testimonials where people are walking out and spontaneously. But the first thing they're saying is that this is one of the greatest movies they've ever seen, if not the greatest in the top 3, and that's how they say it. They say everybody has to see this film. And they're all moved deeply for different reasons. If you're an Italian American, you're deeply moved because you're now seeing what your ancestors went through and what your grandparents were telling you about, and so that moves them deeply.
Well, my name is George Paquetto, and I'm from Philadelphia, and I'm, of course, an Italian American, and was deeply, deeply moved by the movie. For me, it's more than just a moving story. It's actually personal, because I grew up in a Cabrini orphanage here in New York. And the first 6 years of my life was in an orphanage, and I was cared for by the nuns. When you are in there, you are, of course, graced with the love of these nuns. And if it were not for the nuns, and if it were not for these angels that care for the downtrodden and the less fortunate, so many of us wouldn't be here today to be able to talk about it.
Young people are moved by, if we interview young girls, Mother Cabrini's tenacity, the way she never gave up, the way she just, because Mother Cabrini had a vision. Her vision was always eternity, always. And so anything on earth that was thrown her way was nothing, because she saw the big picture. And that's why she had so much tenacity. And she was smart and a great businesswoman. In Chicago, when they're going to build a Chicago hospital, the night before, she walked the whole piece of ground. When they got to the settlement table, they tried to cheat her out of some of the ground. And they were shocked. She
knew the landscape.
She knew the land.
Is that what drove you down this path, eternity, that vision of eternity? Is that why you felt so compelled to bring this film to fruition?
Well, that's always the vision. I mean, I always say, God put us here to get out of here. That's my favorite saying. God put us here to get out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I think when people get out of here, they're blessed. I mean, I write letters to people when someone passes on. of saying I learned when my wife died. It said, gratitude turns the pangs of sorrow into tranquil joy. And, so gratitude for everything you have.
Yep. Well,
So anyway, that was always
yeah. Well,
part of what structure.
we have great gratitude for what you brought into our midst with this film, and I hope many will see it.
Well, I didn't bring it in. I mean, Mother Cabrini brought it in.
Well, you had something to do with it, Eustace.
Well, I was called to make the film, no question. Alejandro felt he was called to make the film. He says that he shot shots that he doesn't remember shooting. And so many things came together. You know, I always say doing a film's like making a cake. It's magic. It either turns out or it doesn't turn out.
Yeah.
And so many things can go wrong because you're dealing with human beings. And you're dealing with unions, and you're dealing with weather, and you're dealing with
Release dates.
attitudes. And we had 1,000 extras. We had 1,200 extras. And, we could have been shut down because of COVID. We had 9 cases break out, and they didn't shut us down. And if they had shut us down, we had to pay this 60% of the salaries for 2 weeks, including the 1,200 extras. We had to pay a fortune for all the tests we had every day, testing 3 times a day. So Mother Cabrini picked the time. She picked the actors. She picked the weather. She picked the locations. She picked everything. Because we made her executive producer. I think I told you that. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I did. Is she in the credits?
She's the #1.
Oh.
Executive producer, Francesca Cabrini.
Wow.
And when we announced that to the cast and the crew, everybody was reading her books. They all read the script. When you walked on the Cabrini set, it was like a Notre Dame football rally. I mean, you could cut it with a knife. The passion, the excitement for this woman. It's just permeated the air. You walk back into the makeup department, and they'd be reading the book of Cabrini and excited about Cabrini. You walk into the wardrobe department, same thing. Anywhere in that set, anywhere you went, they were excited about Cabrini.
Well, thank you for the time. Thank you for
Okay.
the film.
Thank you. It's a must-see film, not a have-to-see film. It's a must-see film. Wherever you are, if you just want it for the cinematography, the acting, the music, and the dialogue, it's worth it just for that. But it's so much more than that. That this movie will change your life.
Cabrini, produced by Eustace Wolfington, hits theaters Friday, March 8th. For information on tickets and showtimes, visit angel.com/Cabrini.